blackmail, gaslighting, victim complex. These were the ingredients chosen to make the perfect manipulator. But DBD Twitter accidentally added an extra ingredient to the concoction: delusion. Thus, Jane Romero was born. Using her ultra superpowers, transphobia, zero accountability, and crybullying, she's dedicated her life to fighting online and the forces of evil. That intro was pretty good, y'all can't even lie. And here we are once again, several months later. Jane Romero has found herself back into drama again. I honestly thought that she was going to stop. It actually seemed like she was doing pretty well. It's been like half a year and she hasn't been in any drama at all, which is awesome. But, you know, some people truly just can't help themselves. So 2 things before we get into this. I want to talk about how we're going to approach this. We're going to try to go in chronological order, like how this started. And there's a lot of screenshots, there's a lot of tweets, there's a lot to cover. I didn't want to put everything because this went on for like a good 8 hours. Like that's a whole work shift of her just replying to people and saying really crazy stuff. I didn't want to include all of that, so I just want to show you how it started and the important tweets. Secondly, I'm not down with any transphobic comments that I see. If I see anything referring to her being a man, it's getting deleted. I don't have an issue with her identity. I have an issue with her behavior, the way she acts. It has nothing to do with her being trans. To me, it's no different than calling a black person the N-word or a gay person the F-slur because you don't like them. Like, just because you fall under these categories and I don't like you doesn't mean I'm going to attack those categories. I think that's ridiculous. And yeah. So before I show any tweets, I kind of want to just like lay out who's who. So when I say certain names, you're not confused. Doc, which is kind of like the main person in all of this, the one with the interactions with Jane. Doc is a competitive player for Team Elysium. V1 is also a competitive player for Team Elysium. And Roxana is a community manager for comp games. I don't exactly know what her role is 100%, but I believe she hosts certain games for competitive players. She's important. So the origin of this story goes back about 6 months ago in a stream chat for a competitive player called Laser. Doc was in that stream and apparently misgendered Jane. Again, this was 6 months ago and a mod stepped in and corrected him immediately, and he hasn't done that since. Laser's mod had this to say: "In Doc's case, I was moderating Laser's chat that night. I corrected him. He never repeated the mistake in the chat." The reason I'm showing this now is because Jane will go out of her way to make this seem like this was intentional, when in reality it seems like Doc just made an honest mistake and he hasn't repeated the mistake since. Also, this was half a year ago. This was 6 months ago. They have not had an interaction since. Please remember that. So half of a year passes. Jane is playing Survivor, Doc is playing Killer, Doc is playing the new Billy and runs into Jane in pubs. Obviously, Doc wins because he's a comp player and he's playing pubs. And this is what Jane had to say in the endgame chat. "Jane, you misgendered me once. Doc, ? Jane, I don't want to deal with you. Jane, in Laser's chat. Doc, oh. Jane, you are one of those who said, quotes, him." Now, unfortunately, this part of the screenshot is cut out, but you can see sorry at the top, which I'm assuming Jane said something along the lines of, "Oh, can you say sorry? Or do I have to speak with Roxana?" Doc, "Well, I don't like you either because of the drama you had with Laser. I don't think you're a good person. Doesn't have anything to do with your gender." What Jane didn't include in the screenshots was the beginning of the conversation, which, according to Doc, Jane was being pretty aggressive about the way Doc chose to play Billy, basically saying, "Oh, the only reason you did well with Billy is because of the add-ons. He's broken. You don't know how to use him base kit. You're relying on broken add-ons to be good with him." Basically saying, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Which Doc replied, "Okay, so let's 1v1. And that's pretty much all the information that we have about what was posted before the screenshots. I don't know how we got into misgendering, but we did. And this is what unfolded afterwards. Jane posted, "Okay, at DocDBD, giving you another chance. Ask me sorry for when you misgendered me and we're good. I'm a nice and welcoming person. I forgive people who make mistakes and I believe in redemption. It's your opportunity to do it and I hope it can be solved." Anyways, Jane ended up deleting the post, but Doc responded to it, so there's a whole thread. So Jane ended up deleting her tweet, but there is a big thread between Doc and Jane, which pretty much is the start of all of this, which I think is pretty important, so we're going to read through it. Doc, I don't respond to threats. I play versus you. The first thing you say is I should get good at Billy. The second thing is a threat to report me to DBD League if I don't apologize to you. Everyone makes mistakes. However, I do not like your behavior. Therefore, I won't be apologizing to you. Jane, you're twisting my words. I said base kit Billy is better to improve at him. What I'm doing at him. Didn't comment your ability at the killer. If you read that into the message, I'm sorry. But it wasn't at all what I meant. Then you asked me for 1v1 as a toxic challenge. Jane again. Then yes, DBD League and other tournaments should know if an individual is transphobic or not. If you misgender intentionally someone you don't like, it's transphobia. You should ask sorry for that. Your opinion about my persona is not related to my pronouns. I like how Jane says, you can't twist my words, and then says, if you intentionally misgender someone you don't like, that's transphobic. Like, you can't twist her words, but she can twist your intent. It's absolutely crazy. Jane, and seriously, I said only that double cooldown is broken, not anything about you. I shared an opinion about a thing that most likely is going to get changed, and getting used to it doesn't help. Who watches me knows it's my way of thinking and nothing personal. I have no grudges against you, and when I got you as Survivor, you know I didn't focus you or played like a dick, but even memed with your team. That's how much aggressive and evil I am, in the hope we could solve it, but you keep disappointing me. Doc, you said I should take off these add-ons. I asked why. You said, your words, to get good. Everyone knows I have nothing against trans people or any LGBT group, whatever it is. You're trying to expose me on Twitter over a mistake that happened very long ago, which is extremely childish. And considering you only cause drama everywhere, I won't apologize. You could have just come in DMs with me if you had a problem. A nice way to handle it. But you chose that way. Let's see what DBD League is going to say over this story. Jane, I tried in that endgame chat. I asked you to ask me sorry for that episode and you said no. Why should I reach you once you show your will of not doing it? Anyway, if you want to keep speaking to get a better outcome, you can reach me in private. If that's all, I saw everything. Doc, so your choice is to create a drama and try to expose me, just proving me how bad of a person you are. Thank you. I don't want anything to do with you in the first place. I won't try to reach out, especially after you even deleted your tweet. Jane, yeah, because at this point there's nothing to say if not in private. I'm just disappointed, and this episode is just proof that maybe DBD comp shouldn't be supported if a top team allows an individual like you to stay there with no consequences after misgendering. It's sad. And another similar response. I've been advised about DBD comp. Many queer players leaving it because they felt unsafe. Now I know what they meant. Someone else enters the conversation. I see. If he didn't apologize when he had the opportunity to, then I believe that's a huge problem. I'm unaware of who this person is. I don't watch Comp DBD, sorry. I personally hope this matter can be resolved peacefully. Have you tried messaging said person privately? Jane responds. He doesn't want to because he thinks he's 100% in the right and DBD Comp community backs him up. This is a whole community issue. This got so out of hand that DBD League themselves had to end up making a statement about the situation. Obviously, Doc is in the clear. You can read this if you want. V1 posted. Jane deleted her initial post, and now she is still playing victim, denouncing Comp as if we are all responsible for her going on a power trip and trying to blackmail my teammate Doc in a random endgame DBD chat. Honestly pathetic. You can see her first deleted post in the screenshot. Doc misgendered her one time by accident in Laser's Twitch chat 6 months ago. The screenshots she included in her initial post provide more context. Keep in mind she posted this as an attempt to try and get Doc banned from DBD tournaments. To which Jane ended up responding, he never asked sorry for it, but I'm not surprised you're typing this as you don't care of Palestine, you don't care of pronouns and trans people's feelings. You gotta love how we managed to jump to a completely unrelated topic just to prove a point. Like, what does Palestine have to do with misgendering? Anyways, Jane takes issue with Doc refusing to apologize, and somebody else gets involved named Becky. And Becky and Jane have an interaction that I think is interesting. Becky, you took this to Twitter rather than DMs. Seems like the intention is to shame a good person who made a mistake and hurt their name and image. Jane, the good person could just ask sorry. He didn't. He still doesn't do it. He's not a good person in my eyes. Using my identity to hurt me and then not having it to ask sorry. Becky, But he didn't do it to hurt you. I'm sorry, but you're placing yourself too hard in the victim mindset. I think you need to step back and realize not everyone has harm towards you. Jane, I repeat, he could have just asked sorry. If that wasn't the goal, he could just ask sorry. Why is it so hard? Becky, but didn't you essentially say, apologize or I will report you to DBD League? That isn't an appropriate way to handle such things, and blackmailing normally doesn't have good responses. Jane, yes, because bullies shouldn't be backed up and supported and allowed in claimed safe spaces. He acted like a bully, and still he's doing it. What is he doing exactly? I mean, he made it clear he doesn't want to talk to you, he doesn't want to apologize. He's not bullying you, he doesn't even want to talk to you. And for you to even want an apology after doing what you did, like, how crazy do you have to be to think that that's an appropriate response? To me, it's like having a partner that you upset 6 months ago, and then 6 months later, they call your job, they try to get you fired, that doesn't work. They call your friends and shit talk you, then they break all of your stuff in your house, and then you come home and they're like, oh, well, you could just say sorry and everything will be okay. It's like, no, the damage is already done. You went so, above and beyond to try to ruin this person's image and embarrass them online and try to expose them and take them away from their competitive scene that they spend a lot of time in a game that they play just so they could say sorry? Like, who in their right mind would want to apologize after that? Especially if his intent wasn't to harm you to begin with. He just doesn't want to apologize to you because you're a fucking asshole. Doc, for the record, I'm not transphobic, and I never admitted misgendering her on purpose. But you gotta lie about what you gotta lie to expose someone, I guess. Jane, then ask sorry. It's not hard. Ask sorry and I'll believe you. Doc, you lied about me intentionally misgendering you when I never admitted it, and you made an insane drama out of all of this, trying to make me look like a bad guy to everyone, and you think I would apologize out of a mistake? I won't apologize to you. Not because I'm transphobic, but because I don't like your behavior. Just live without talking to me. It's not hard. Jane, look, you did everything by yourself. I asked for you to say sorry for that episode, and I would forget. You insisted that you didn't want to ask sorry. You're making it look like you think you were right at misgendering me. You gotta love the fact that Doc literally just explained why he won't apologize to her, and she still jumps to the conclusion and assumes that, oh, he won't apologize to me because he thought it was right to misgender me. Even though he just explained why he didn't want to apologize to you, and it had nothing to do with purposely misgendering you. Your behavior is awful. Like, how can you not see this? How is this possible? How are you like this? Another person joins the conversation, Ducky. Maybe if you didn't go out and attempt to get them banned in DBD League, damage their public reputation, and start a whole lot of drama rather than handling it like a normal person and trying to force an apology, you'd get it. Jane, it doesn't work like that. Misgendering is a serious topic. I don't have to take it easily, especially when the other side is being hostile. Ducky, no, Jane, it works like this. You get an apology if you deserve it. You don't deserve it. When he misgendered you, he said it was a mistake and went on with his life. Rather than you doing the same, you've attempted to damage his reputation. You do not deserve a sorry. Jane, it's not up to me to be like, can I reach you in the DM? What you did to me in the past made me think bad of you and hurt me, when they're doing everything possible to look hostile. Ah, yes. When a killer face camps you, it actually means that they fucking hate you and they want nothing but bad things to happen to you for the rest of your life. It's definitely not because, they want to get maybe a 4K or they want to guarantee a kill so they can, win the game. They actually hate you. It's a form of hostility. They don't like you. Doc says, the fact that Jane Romero tried to expose me in 2 different posts and the fact that these 2 posts were deleted after my teammate V1 reposted them, exposing her bad behavior, is insane to me. Putting all this story on the back of DBD comp is so disappointing from you. Now, if I really wanted to, I could show you every single screenshot of what Jane said, but this went on for 8 hours straight. I don't think I need to show you 8 hours worth of screenshots to prove the point. I think the ones that I showed you did the job. But it gets worse. Jane deleted this comment and I couldn't find what she was responding to. I imagine what she was responding to was someone saying something along the lines of, oh, like, Doc's a good person, he's not bad, da-da-da. And so Jane responds, to some people, Jeffrey Dahmer was a nice person who always said hello in the morning. How the fuck are you gonna compare Doc, who accidentally misgendered you, to fucking Jeffrey Dahmer, a serial killer? Are you fucking crazy? I mean, like, what's next? Like, you know who else didn't like pronouns? Hitler. And that's not even the end of it. It gets worse. So someone calls out Jane for making the comparison of Jeffrey Dahmer to Doc, which Jane responds, Considering that night, I explained more times how I was considering taking my own life. My blood could be in Doc's hands as well, by thinking I read him misgendering me as one of my possible last things. Look, I've met people like Jane before. She will never off herself, and I don't want her to. But the only reason she says that she would is so that she can have more control of what people do around her. For example, on my last video on her, she threatened to sue me, which I will leave up here, the screenshot. You can read it if you want. And obviously, I'm not going to back down. I didn't do anything wrong. And I really wish I saved the screenshot, but I didn't get it quickly enough because she deleted it. But she said something along the lines of, when people make videos like this, you make me want to off myself. It's like, you only say that so I can take down the video, so I can feel bad and take down the video and listen to you. You say that about Doc so Doc could apologize. You just say that so you can get what you want. And it's totally normal to not want to off yourself, right? Like, that's totally normal. But stop lying about it so people can do what you say. Because people see right through that. You're not fooling anyone. You're not going to off yourself. I don't want you to, but you're not going to do it, so stop lying. It's cringe as f***. Eventually, she realizes this is going nowhere, so she ends up posting this, with this damn picture of Jane sitting on a beach. She always posts this damn picture. I just give up. Speaking of it is not worth it, and it feels like getting misgendered is the least of the problems here, as opposite to skill. What a sad page of this community. But if everything was perfect, creating spaces like mine wouldn't be necessary. There's one more post I want to show that pretty much sums up everything about Jane's interactions with other people. Hens replies, "Such a shame how a tiny endgame chat conversation can escalate to such a degree." And if you're familiar with Jane's behavior, you'll know that this is how it always goes down. She'll get into a game, she loses, she talks mad shit to the killer in endgame chat, the killer ends up saying something that she doesn't like, then she cries about it on Twitter and tries to expose them. It happened with Hens, it almost happened with Laser, but Laser shut that down immediately, and now it's happening with Doc. Like, you can't be super aggressive in endgame chat and then turn into a cry bully on Twitter and try to expose them. It just doesn't work that way. You can't do that. No one's believing you. Like, I'm sorry. Now look, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I'm making this video in hopes that Jane becomes a better person. No, I don't care about that. I really don't give a f***. If you want to keep acting like that, that's fine. I'm not making this for you to improve. I'm making this to document your terrible behavior. The more you act like this, the more videos I will make. You did good these past couple of months, but for whatever reason, you just can't help yourself but to put yourself in this negative spotlight. I don't know what to tell you. Videos like this will continue to be made as long as you act like this. And yeah, that pretty much sums up everything. I'm gonna leave my socials in the description, and I made a Discord that y'all can join. I'll leave that in the description as well. I'm also live on Twitch. You can find me on Adrian. I'm trying to go live a little more often. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye!